I don't really like driving at night anymore, and it's not even something I noticed right away. It just kind of became this thing over time, where I started avoiding it without really thinking about why. And then eventually, I realized it all traced back to one drive that just felt off in a way I still can't really explain. It wasn't anything dramatic either. That's the weird part. It was just a normal drive home, same road I've taken 100 times. Nothing different about it, except it was really quiet. Like, no cars, no sound except the road and the engine. And I remember that part specifically because when everything's that quiet, you notice small things more than you usually would. At some point, I glanced up at the rearview mirror, just out of habit more than anything, and for a split second, it looked like someone was sitting in the back seat. But it didn't fully hit me right away. It was more like my brain registered something before I actually thought about it. So I just kept driving for a second like nothing happened. And then it caught up to me. And I remember thinking, wait, what was that? So I looked again, this time actually focusing on it. And yeah, it really did look like someone was sitting back there. Just sitting straight up behind me. Not moving, not leaning forward, nothing like that. Just there. And I turned around immediately, like without even thinking. And the back seat was completely empty. No one there. I kind of laughed after that, but it wasn't like I thought it was funny. It was more like I needed it to be nothing. I told myself it had to be the lighting or reflections or something from outside, because that's the only explanation that made any sense in that moment. But then I looked at the mirror again, and it was back. Same exact spot, same position, like it had never left. And this time, I didn't turn around right away. I just kept looking at it, trying to understand what I was seeing, because it didn't look distorted or shadowy or anything like that. It looked like a person, just too still. And that's when I started to feel it. Like physically. My chest got tight, and I could feel my heart beating way harder than it should have been. Like that kind of heavy, uneven heartbeat, where you're suddenly very aware of it. My hands were still on the wheel, but they didn't feel steady anymore, like I had to actually focus just to keep the car straight. And I remember getting this cold feeling down my arms and into my back, like chills. But not from being cold, just fear, real fear. And the worst part was, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, because whatever I was seeing, it didn't feel like something I could just explain away anymore. I tried to focus on it through the mirror without moving too much, and I couldn't make out a face exactly. Not because it was blurry, but because it felt like my eyes wouldn't fully lock onto it. Like it was there, but not something I was meant to look at directly. After a few seconds, I turned around again just to check, and again, nothing. But when I looked back at the mirror, it wasn't sitting as far back anymore. It had moved. Not a lot, but enough that I knew I wasn't imagining it. And that's when it really hit me. It was getting closer. I had this moment where I didn't know what to do. Like part of me wanted to keep checking, because not knowing felt worse. But at the same time, it felt like every time I looked at it, I was letting it move closer somehow. And that thought alone was enough to make me stop. So I didn't look again. Not once after that. I kept my eyes forward, both hands on the wheel, just focused on the road and trying to keep my breathing steady, even though it wasn't. And the rest of that drive felt way longer than it actually was, because the whole time I knew something was behind me. When I finally got home, I didn't even sit in the car for a second like I normally would. I just pulled in, shut it off, got out as fast as I could, and went straight inside, locked the door right away. I remember standing there for a second after, just listening, like I expected to hear something behind me, even though I was already inside. I was so terrified. I couldn't look at the bathroom mirror and went straight to bed with the lights on and doors locked. The next morning, I went back out to my car, and everything looked completely normal. Nothing in the back seat, no sign that anything had ever been there. And I never saw it again after that night. But I also don't really drive at night anymore, not unless I absolutely have to. And I definitely don't take that road, so I don't really know if it stopped or if I just stopped giving it the chance to follow.